Order 66, otherwise known as Clone Protocol 66, was one of 150 orders to be enacted by the Grand Army of the Republic. Upon order from the Supreme Chancellor, the clones would obey to the interests of the Republic and eliminate any Jedi that breached these interests. After killing Jedi Master Mace Windu and anointing his new apprentice Darth Vader, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine ordered Vader to prepare for a siege of the Jedi Temple before executing Order 66. All around the galaxy, unsuspecting Jedi Knights, Padawans and Masters began to fall at the hands of the clones, decimating the Jedi Order and allowing the Sith to rule the galaxy. But what if Palpatine accidentally executed Order 65? How would Palpatine be able to correct his mistake? What would happen to the Jedi Temple? As you're about to see, this minute difference will have a significant impact on the galaxy. Requesting the former Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, now Sith apprentice Darth Vader to march to the Jedi Temple, Palpatine received a message from one of the clones of the 501st Legion that they were in position. Switching on his holoprojector, the shimmering frame of Commander Cody appeared, and Palpatine executed Order 65. Cody was momentarily confused, before accepting the instruction and deactivating his hologram. Cody stood in the centre of the battle of Utapau, wondering what the Supreme Chancellor was thinking. Whilst Order 65 could only be triggered by a vote in the Galactic Senate or the Security Council, Palpatine did have control over the Senate, but that failed to explain why he wanted himself to be arrested or killed. Shaken from his thoughts by one of the other officers of the 212th Battalion, all of the clones began to robotically move back towards their ships, leaving ObiWan to face the remaining Separatist forces. ObiWan stood in bemusement, deflecting the hits from the droids, but watching his troopers walk away. Conflicted between finishing the mission and finding out what was happening, ObiWan decided to jump into a ship and head for the skies. Getting in touch with former Jedi Padawan Ahsoka Tano, she had noticed this bizarre behaviour from her own division of the 501st Legion, jumping into their own gunships and leaving her on the cruiser. Tracking the gunships, they were also en route to Coruscant, and ObiWan requested for the other Jedi to abort their missions if possible and return to their home. Back on Coruscant, Palpatine sat sanctimoniously in his office, watching the events unfold from his window. One of his personal royal guards knocked at his door, and Palpatine opened it, curious as to the nature of the call. The guard reported of some confusing behaviour from the clones, and Palpatine chose to investigate himself. Taking a speeder with Masamida, Palpatine intended to hold a Senate meeting, but that would have to be put on hold as he departed for the Jedi Temple. But just as he left, clones were magnetically tracking his every move, some firing blaster bolts at the underside of his speeder. Trying to get in touch with the closest commander, who was Commander Rappo, there was no response from the supposedly obedient clones. Palpatine, still firmly believing that he hadn't made a mistake, hopped to the ground below. The clones were soon all over his location, some firing with immense intensity, and some attempting an arrest. Palpatine is obliged to get rid of his disguise as a politician, and used a combination of force powers and his lightsaber to fend off the clones. Leaping on top of a tall residential building, the Sith Lord contacted his apprentice. Vader is busy scything his way through the Jedi when his master orders him to help him. Abandoning his task, he had been so focused he had not realised the disappearance of his clones, and he rushed out to see his master defending. Palpatine and Vader make a quick escape, and Vader is ordered to Mustafar to eliminate the Separatist alliance. First though, he flew into Padme's apartment, but the space normally reserved for guest speeders was already taken. Angered, Vader ignited his blade and charged inside. The previously hidden Padme emerged with Anakin Skywalker's Padawan Ahsoka Tano. Defending Padme with her two lightsabers, she pleaded with what remained of the light of her master to stop this madness. Padme bravely stepped out with a blaster in her hand and moved towards Vader. Vader deactivated his lightsaber and faced Padme, boasting how the clones had turned against Palpatine, but how he was powerful enough to save her, and that together they could rule the galaxy. Ahsoka stared at her master with a mix of pity and puzzlement. She had not known her master to have such a desire for power, but she knew he would do it if it meant saving others. Suddenly, the room began to rumble, and the walls shook from their foundations. With no time to find out the cause, Anakin carried Padme into his speeder, and Ahsoka tailed him closely, glancing backwards to see the block of apartments collapsing to the ground. Curious as to where they were going, Ahsoka jumped from her speeder to a nearby starship and followed them across the galaxy. Back on Coruscant, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi had just landed in a Jedi Temple hangar, having been obliged to leave the battle on Utapau. As ships flew above him, he spotted the distinctive starfighter of Ahsoka Tano chasing another ship, adding to his already confused mood. Igniting his lightsaber, the clones were not responding to any of his cries for help, so he followed them to their focal point. Hiding behind a pillar, Obi-Wan was blinded by a bright light, which was the Force signing of Palpatine. Obi-Wan had never felt such an intensity and darkness in the Force, and he knew he would struggle to defend against it, even if he was not fatigued from fighting Grievous. With the battle in a stalemate, Obi-Wan is relieved to see several other Jedi gunships floating to the surface, but inside most of them were more waves of clones. Going back to the Jedi Temple, Obi-Wan hears a voice he did not wish to hear again. That is it for part 1 of What If Palpatine Accidentally Executed Order 65. If you'd like to see a part 2 soon, please like this video, turn on your notifications, and subscribe for more tips. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.